We are back. You know, boy, I must be getting older because I thought the show we're going to talk about now started maybe a decade ago. I didn't know it started in 1970. It truly is iconic, Pearls Over Shanghai, and we're here with its director and a cast member, Russell Blackwood.
Thanks for having me, David.
Now, come on, you're not old enough to have directed it in 1970.
No, I'm not. I was but a babe. But it's certainly a period in San Francisco history that I knew about before moving to San Francisco, and one that I think particularly fascinates queer people. I mean, it was this time where we were coming out of the hippie era and moving into queer liberation, right?
Because Pearls Over Shanghai is the brainchild of a group that was called the Cockettes, correct?
That's right.
And David Weissman did a wonderful
Yes,
piece
and that the documentary that David Weissman did, I think, has turned a lot of people onto the Cockettes. They've, I don't know, may have been a bit of a footnote in theater history otherwise, but now a big archive has just been given to the Lincoln Center Performing Arts Library so that people can study the actual documents that made up the Cockette shows.
It's interesting, the things that would have been considered maybe from our community standpoint campy are now being preserved as arts history. It's
absolutely.
Really quite something.
You know, and I think it was definitely high camp, but it was also pretty cutting edge as well. I mean, there was lots of throwing off of clothes, dropping of acid, the whole works. I mean, this was wild stuff, even in 1970.
Now, 40 years since that original production, I guess maybe the dropping of clothes is still going on, but the dropping of acid is probably gone by the wayside.
Well, I don't know what our audience does, and I sometimes can't even keep tabs on our actors.
Right.
But I think all in all,
it's
a different kind of experience than it would have been in the Palace Theater. But then again, that was 1,200 people at midnight,
right?
And everybody came to get stoned first and foremost.
So what is the plot of Pearls Over Shanghai?
That's a difficult question.
Exactly right.
If you might be familiar with a movie called The Shanghai Gesture.
Yeah.
This was a Joseph von Sternberg movie. He was Marlene Dietrich's big director. But that was the jumping off point for what Pearls Over Shanghai is. Basically, there are 3 American virgins and an American ocean liner captain that arrive in Shanghai, and Shanghai proves to be their sexual undoing. The girls find themselves kidnapped, white-slaved, and eventually, yes, exactly, Shanghai, and eventually, crowned white queens of the Shanghai brothel.
So, of course, it's a documentary we're talking about here. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that the term Shanghai actually started
in San Francisco.
That's exactly right.
Though I'll tell you a big secret, and this isn't in our program notes or anywhere. Hibiscus, who founded the Cockettes.
Famous drag performer.
Exactly. He had something to do with naming this show Pearls Over Shanghai. And a pearl is actually a little tiny fart. And so there you have it.
See, I just learned something about theater history. I don't know if I needed to learn it.
It's not something I put in the press release, but I thought, David, you would be interested. It is. It's these little tiny farts over Shanghai.
Just between
us.
So
right there's a cheeky, cheeky inside joke that was a Cockettes only kind of joke.
What do you find the audience reaction to this is? A new audience. I'm talking about people who weren't alive in 1970 when they see this.
I think to having the show right on their laps, the way it is at the Hypnodrome. We're a 45-seat theater, and it's a company of 25 that does the show. Many in full, intense makeup, all singing, all dancing, and a little of that famous Cockettes nudity as well.
Now, besides being the director of the show, you are a cast member.
Yes.
Who do you play, and what is this?
I play Mother Fu. Mother Fu is, she says that she's the proud mother of Fu Manchu, and that she's the golden bitch queen of the world. She's an immortal. And she's the one that first lays out the plan that we're going to nab 3 willing virgins, and we're going to prove their undoing. She intends to send them back to America once they've been spoiled, and that somehow that will undo American ethics. But when it comes time to send them home at the very end of the show, I hate to be a spoiler, but the girls refuse to go.
Yeah.
They like being whores in Shanghai.
Yeah.
And don't want to go back to America.
Yeah. You know, all laughter aside, you know, we live in 2011 San Francisco, what many people think of as maybe the most politically correct city in the world, or certainly in the United States. This is not a politically correct show.
It's not.
Do you think any other group of people other than the legacy of the Cockettes could get by with the broad stereotypes that exist in the show?
I think it would be tougher.
I mean, seriously.
We don't have Thrill Peddlers don't have any corporate sponsors to answer to or city donors to answer to. We are beholden to Scrumbly and Link Martin's piece and to the humor of the piece.
Which is all done in good fun.
It's all done in good fun. It's all loving parody. We have many different Asian actors that are in the company. And
what's their reaction to it?
Oh, I think they're having a great time.
Uh-huh.
And in fact, one of them, Stephen Chun, does, I think, the most outrageous Chinese dialect in the whole company, and really finds it liberating.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact,
I saw the other night on the Late Show a movie that I hadn't seen in a long time, Murder by Death.
Yes, I love it.
So how much of some of the characterizations in Pearls Over Shanghai give a little wink and a nod to Peter Sellers as that wonderful...
Oh, sure. He does a great Charlie Chan in that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, that's absolutely the era, right? I mean, this was, in so many cases, Anglo actors playing Asian roles. We're as much lampooning that and lampooning Hollywood's notions about Orientalism, which is not real Asian anything.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's Shanghai in the mind of American moviegoers for decades wasn't really Shanghai.
Right, and there's like Weimar Berlin, there's a Shanghai of the 30s that is only a memory now. But that really was a party hotspot like you'd be hard-pressed to find in America these days. You know? And that the Cockettes were certainly referencing as a truly liberated, wild party, and one that was squashed. And when you think about the things in World War II that were squashing this kind of free-spiritedness, well, it's tyrants.
What's interesting is even nowadays, Shanghai is becoming, again, kind of a catchphrase for the hip and the envelope pushing. Even in China today, there is all China's large cities, and then there's Shanghai.
Sure.
Which it's a little different. I mean, there was just a restaurant has just opened in San Francisco, Pudong, which is the name of the Shanghai downtown. And I think a whole new generation is beginning to discover what's unique and sexy about Shanghai.
Absolutely. And it's a sister city of San Francisco.
That's exactly right, for 30 years now. What is the most challenging part of being the director of this herd of cats?
Well, that it is a cast of 22. And that we have 40-plus people who know the roles. So on any given night, the whole cast is going to be shaken up. Just playing Petrushka, the role that was originated by Sylvester, is Connie Champagne, Veronica Klaus, Katya Smirnovsky, a gal named Chix Lamore, and we have a new one that we're bringing in.
You bring up a good point that I am so glad you brought it up. Sylvester.
Yes.
Was in the original cast of Pearls Over Shanghai.
Came up from L.A. From singing in the church choir and joined the Cockettes immediately.
How does someone like Connie Champagne, who herself has quite a following, feel about trying to fill the high heels of Sylvester? I mean,
oh, you know Connie Champagne. She's a punk rocker from way back.
Yeah.
You know, and a grande dame herself. So she recognizes the lineage. You know, as does Leanne Borghese, who also plays the role, and Katya. It's fabulous, and it's fabulous to maintain a certain, star quality about that role as well. Divine was a Cockette too, you know, and our next show is a Cockette's vehicle that was written for Divine. In 1972 called Vice Palace.
Well, we're trying to get John Waters on the show, so I'm going to ask him about that part of Divine's history.
We were lucky enough to have him in to see Pearls Over Shanghai.
Wow. We've been speaking with Russell Blackwood, director and cast member of Pearls Over Shanghai. This is David Perry with 10% Over California. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.